What's up, guys? My name's Booch, and welcome to the channel. I'm glad to be back on YouTube, and here we're going to talk about all things football, from players to the leagues. Any big football stories that come up, we're going to cover it on this channel. Now, guys, this Premier League weekend, right before the international break, is always a huge weekend. A lot of jobs can be lost, and a lot of teams can be under extreme pressure. Now, of course, there's the obvious teams, Manchester United, but there's a few other teams that I want to go over that I feel like have a big weekend on their hands. Now, looking at the matches here, the first one that stands out to me is Manchester United versus Burnley. This match is not only massive because of the Grimsby defeat that Manchester United suffered midweek, but I also think that playing a relegated side under this Manchester United manager, Ruben Amorim, is about to be one of the most crucial games of his Manchester United tenure. Not only if they lose, maybe they don't even lose, but it's about how they play. If the board, the fans don't see some change in style of play, they're gonna lose. They're gonna lose everything, because after seeing what happened at Grimsby, and one part of that match that highlighted everything about Amorim for me is when he subbed on Mason Mount. He put on Mason Mount for, I think it was Aid in Heaven. And in my head, I thought, hey, he's going to change formation. They're down a goal. This is going to be the match to finally make him change his tactics and his formation. But boy, was I wrong. He put Mason Mount at left back, and that right there let me know everything I need to know about Amorim. He's extremely stubborn, and he's really not going to change his ways. He said it last season, but I thought Grimsby would be the time where he said, you know what, I was wrong. I've got to change. So leading up to this Manchester United-Burnley match against a newly promoted side that conceded 3 goals against Tottenham, if United do not win this game, I know the board and the ownership said they're going to back Amorim, but I could see that tide change very, very quickly, especially because managers are known to get sacked before the international break, because you can find a new manager, you can change things around, and it's the perfect time to do that. Now, the next match that I really want to look at is Sunderland-Brentford. And this is mainly because Sunderland got a win on their opening weekend. So they're at 3 points. They lost their next match against Burnley, 2-0, I believe. But the matches at home are key for these promoted sides. These are the games where they need to pick up points. The away games, not so much. They're always going to be tough for them. But the home matches with the crowd behind them on their pitch, they need to pick up points. And Brentford, I believe, is one of Sunderland's best teams to get points from. New manager, a few new players, new system, and I think Sunderland have a good chance to finally pick up some more points, because the closer you can get to 40 points as a newly promoted side, the closer you are to being safe. Now, for me, this is the biggest match of the weekend. Nottingham Forest versus West Ham United. In terms of manager positions, I think these two managers are under extreme pressure. Nottingham Forest with Nuno Espirito Santos, him and the owner's relationship has been strained for the past few weeks. Actually, ever since last season, when they failed to qualify for the Europa League and for the Champions League after being in third place for majority of the season, that relationship has been strained. And I think if Forest do not get a win here against West Ham United, who have been shocking, I think West Ham have given up 11 goals in 3 games. I think Nuno could be on his way out. On the other side of the coin, West Ham United, I think I predicted Graham Potter to be the first manager to get sacked. And I think if they do not get some type of result here, it could be curtains for him, only because the international break is coming up, and this is the best time to get in a new manager. Now, West Ham were also floating above relegation the past few seasons, and they are under the hot seat. This is one team that people suspect, if they don't get it right this year, they could be going down. I think the promoted sides, Leeds and Sunderland mainly, are going to offer a lot in terms of challenging to stay up. And West Ham have started off terribly, especially getting knocked out to Wolves in the Carabao Cup this past midweek. That was a devastating knockout. I mean, they just got battered at the end. I couldn't actually believe they lost that match. But I think this match is a very big match for both of these clubs, both of these managers, and we're going to see who comes out on top. I think it'll be Forest just because West Ham is so bad, but it's going to be a great match to watch, full of a lot of tension. Wolves Everton. This is a big match mainly because Wolves have been floating above relegation for a few years now. I mean, obviously their team has been rated over the past couple years with Jimenez going, Ruben Neves, João Moutinho, all of them. Diogo Jota, rest in peace to him. And I think Wolves need to kick on now, because if they don't, they could find themselves in a very, very dark situation very quickly. You do not want to be in a relegation fight come December. You really don't. It's a very tough time. So you want to try to pick up as many points as you can, especially at home. So against Everton, who have several amount of new players, mainly in the attack, they really need to buckle down and try to get a result as best they can. Newcastle United versus Leeds. Now, Newcastle have so much going on off the pitch that they need a result. At Leeds will be a very tough game. I saw Leeds versus Everton at Leeds, and I was like, oh my gosh, this team could actually get a challenge for a lot of these new teams coming to the stadium. But Newcastle, they need to get a result here. They've just picked up a new striker, I believe, in Voltemeta, and I think now that the Isak saga will be coming to a close, I think now is the time to start kicking on. They don't have Anthony Gordon as a result of the straight red card versus Liverpool, but I still think Newcastle should have enough energy, enough talent to get the result at Leeds. City Brighton is pretty much straightforward. City need a win. They just got battered by Spurs last week, 2-0. They really need to bounce back, show some creativity, show some life. But Brighton, at the same time, Brighton have really struggled this year. They gave up a last-minute goal versus Fulham. They lost the match to Everton 2-0, which, losing to Everton, it's not a huge disaster, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on. So I know Brighton are looking to bounce back here because they're having a tough start to the season. And the final match I want to talk about here is Liverpool versus Arsenal, the box office match that everybody cannot wait to see at Anfield. Now, Liverpool have been scraping wins lately. They've been leaking goals all throughout preseason. Their first two matches of the Premier League season as well. They've been leaking goals, 2 goals minimum. And Arsenal's defense do not give up 2 goals very often. It's very rare that they give up 2 goals. However, they do give up 2 goals often against this Liverpool side. Over the years, even last year, they give up 2 goals. Arsenal are missing Saka and Odegaard, so they're going to be hindered in the attack. But will that be enough for Liverpool to get a clean sheet or only concede 1 goal? I have no idea, because Arsenal are just set-piece corner kick masters. They have mastered a corner kick. This is a big match just to see who is the real favorite to win this Premier League. I think these two teams are pretty much at the top. Arsenal finishing second the past 3 seasons, bolstering their entire squad, especially their attack with Victor Gyökeres. And then Liverpool breaking the British record transfer fee for Florian Wirtz and about to do it again for Isak. I think these two teams have the most pressure on them to lift the silverware at the end of the season. So this match is going to be a good test to see who is the real favorite. Let me know, guys, in the comments which match you're excited for, which teams you're excited to watch, and who do you think out of all these teams is under the most pressure, whether it's a team, manager, players. Let me know in the comments, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll be back tomorrow.